what you hear from your constituents, what our sheriffs see in the communities, has to deal with a significant increase in violent crime. It's not a significant increase of a felon in possession of a firearm. It's those individuals who are committing violent crimes while being in the possession of a firearm. So the bill as presented takes away all drug offenses and only lists the offenses in 14.2. And if you're arrested for that predicate offense in 14.2 while being in possession of a firearm, you no longer will be afforded the opportunity to have the enhanced good time that you would have had if it were not a crime of violence. That's all it states simply. So what does it mean? It does not mean that we're taking away what was done in 2017 in criminal justice reform. It doesn't really mean that at all. It means that we're not going to afford in the future an individual who has a propensity for violent offenses to be given not a second chance, but a third chance. This is really about the third chance.
When I hear that we are taking a step backwards with a bill like this, I cringe. Because we are talking about an individual who has been convicted of a crime of violence and is prohibited from possessing a firearm, who has nevertheless thumbed his nose at the law and is possessing a firearm and commits another crime of violence. And by not supporting this bill, what we are saying is that individual should be treated like every other convict and given 13 days for every 7 days served good time. Somehow, if we don't do that, we are taking a step backwards in this state. And I find that offensive, and I am going to fight this session every which way to make people understand that when we're talking about bills like this, we are not talking about taking a step backwards. We are not talking about repopulating the jails. We are talking about public safety at a crime rate that is soaring. And I think people need to start waking up and listening to what's real as opposed to the rhetoric that supposedly sounds good.
I didn't see anything wrong with putting the bill in a proper posture that was intended by the authors. I read nothing that was said today as somebody that doesn't want to be tough on crime and sound like Representative Marino said he actually wants to vote for the bill if that was the intent of the author, to say if you committed a crime of violence and you're out here being violent in the past and then you continue in the same path of creating other crime, doing another crime of violence, and you still haven't learned from your past, you don't benefit from the others who committed a crime, but it wasn't a crime of violence, but it was listed on the list that allows you to be charged as a felon with a firearm. That is the intent of the author. Putting it in that posture is not being light on crime. And the room has the right to know the intent of the author before they see us vote or not vote on a bill. And the author agreed that was his intent. But he does not want people that committed regular crimes, but it falls on the list that could be charged as a crime of violence, and then coming back and committing another offense and then going to jail, and the judge being able to do the crime 150%. That's not his intent. The author's intent. We can't keep saying go to the floor when the floor doesn't allow for the public to understand what's happening and ask questions.
I am committed to the fact that if Representative Seabaugh does not keep his commitment and that this bill stays in its current posture without making clear to the satisfaction of those who have requested, I believe the bill does what he says it's going to do. But for those who doubt it, that if he does not work with those reps to put it in that posture to ensure just what I've said, I will not be supporting the bill on the floor.
We're spending over $24,000 a year to incarcerate somebody. So if we're going to be spending that much extra money to incarcerate somebody, we should be focusing on people who are actually doing crimes of violence. which we do, by having a good time rate of 100% for people who have 2 crimes of violence. I also just want to make clear that when somebody is sentenced as convicted of a crime of violence, they are ineligible for certain programming like reentry court and some aspects of mental health court. So we are taking away services from people based on a term of art. So I would just ask that everyone consider all of these things, whether the bill is amended or not. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is a rollback. And I'd ask everybody to, just take your time, keep your hats on. I like the amendment and everything, but people sentenced to a crime of violence are ineligible for such thing as, and I was in Angola for 20 years, they will not get the services that they need. So when they come back out, they're going to be in terrible shape again. I asked you not to consider this bill. Let's have another debate on the bill if it's come back tomorrow and make sure that the amendment says what it says, because we need to work hard to make sure we're getting this right.
While we may not philosophically agree on criminal justice, I don't think anyone can suggest that I don't keep my word. And the way you can find out if you haven't figured that out in the last 2 years is watch my vote on this bill on the floor. And then maybe you can satisfy yourself that I kept my word. But I just wanted to address that comment from you that I took as not being able to trust me. And I don't take that lightly. Thank you.
And I don't take it lightly that you think that I distrust you. I only made a statement that we said that we're going to work with the author. The people that want to make comment, we're not allowed to be a part of that conversation. So how would I know that John Doe or Jane Doe kept their word? It was not directed at you. You've already made it clear to me what you intend to do is have true sentencing and make sure that everybody goes to prison that do a crime and never see the day of light. I understand that. You're a former prosecutor. I understand that. But we're trying to do now work this out. And I hope you don't take it. I'm not taking it. I hope you don't take this personal. We're only debating here. We're only debating. Nothing is personal. This is just facts. You're a former prosecutor, and I'm sure you did a great job. I've heard you brag about it.
No, that's about.
So now I'm saying that, hey, let's try to make sure that we don't have a ball of confusion, and we work to make sure that we're satisfied. And again, this bill is not needed. Thank you.
I may not agree with all of criminal justice reform, but I think people know who I am, and I think your characterization of me is off, but it's okay. It's debate, and I don't take it personally. I'm proud of my stance. I'm proud of my views, and my district supports me in my position, and that's what I'm here for, to be a voice for my district. Thank you.
And thank you, ma'am. I believe that you are, and believe me, I am passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about making sure that I do the right thing, that I can be an example for other former incarcerated people that have an opportunity to come out. And you and I have talked,
Brian.
standing up. I was scared when I was talking to you because I didn't know maybe you might lock me up or whatever, but I was able to get past that, and I did speak with you. Thank you.